Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Authenticity Meets Reality. I am super excited. We have our third guest speaker,
Hey
Taylor
guys.
Hamilton.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I'm so excited you are here. So today I have brought on Taylor Hamilton on the podcast to talk about her journey with self-love. She has inspired me in so many ways. Her journey is so remarkable. And today on the podcast, we're going to talk about her journey with self-love, dating, relationships, all of the juiciness.
Juicy fun. We're going to be spilling tea. We're going to be getting deep. We're going to
Yeah.
be diving into a lot.
It's going to be really fun. So stay until the end. But this episode was really inspired because her and I the other day was at the beach and we were talking about dating and relationships. And the main thing that really inspires me about Taylor is she feels really whole and complete with herself. She chooses herself. She feels lovable. She feels worthy of a partnership that is up to her standards. And when I say chooses herself, like she firmly believes that she deserves the best of the best. And I think there's many people out there in the audience that don't feel deserving, don't feel worthy, don't feel lovable. You know, for a long part of my life, I didn't feel lovable. I felt like something was wrong with me. And I say that like laughing and smiling because it's so sad, you know? I feel like
It takes work.
yeah, a lot of people struggle with that. So let's get into it. Would love for you to just introduce yourself and share like what's your journey with self-love. Like the other day at the beach, you were saying, I was so inspired by you. Like, I feel like how you view relationships and dating is how I view my career. Like I feel so confident.
We need to like, codes.
Yeah.
Give me the abundance wealth code.
Yeah, I feel like so abundance and confident in like career and like finance and all that, and not as much with love. And so, yeah, I'd love for you just to share your story because you said it wasn't always that way, and you used to like hate yourself and all of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, exactly that. I think self-love is a never-ending journey. But yeah, way back when, I had no self-confidence. I had very low self-esteem. I was my own worst enemy. And when I'm saying way back when, I'm talking about like probably high school to college, when I think it's a very like, pivotal point in your life where you're figuring out a lot about yourself. You might be moving out and not being under your parents and you're doing a lot of things. So yeah, I was my own worst enemy. I bullied myself. I would say like mean things and just like constantly about my weight and the way I looked and like comparing myself to others. And, it just I wasn't on my team. And I kind of like woke up one day and I was like, what are you doing? My best friend Zoe actually, like, I think she caught me one time. I was saying something like, oh, I feel so ugly, you're fat or whatever. And she's like, excuse me, why are you talking about my best friend that way? Like, shut up. And I was like, huh? Oh, yeah, interesting. I am talking about like your best friend that way, which is also me and like my own best friend.
I love how she called you out like that.
Yeah, we need that sometimes. And so from that moment on, I was kind of like checking myself every time I was having that negative self-talk. I was like, don't talk about my best friend that way. Like, don't talk about yourself that way. So you kind of have to like, someone has to call you out or you have to call yourself out to like stop that subconscious wiring.
Audience, I want to like pause what she's saying because so many of us are on autopilot with our negative self-talk or inner critic.
Yes.
And you don't even realize like what is going on in your mind. And not just that, but is it even your voice? Like for myself, I did yoga teacher training recently and they said, is that even your voice in your head? And sometimes it's your mom's, it's your dad's, it's your
I call
coach.
it my inner roommate.
Yeah,
but like personify that voice as like a different person.
Yeah.
So, like tell them to shut the fuck up.
But not just like that. It's like sometimes we've inherited this voice from our upbringing, from someone else telling us, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you're not this and that. And so you adopted that voice as yourself. But like, number one, like stop being on autopilot and check yourself of like, is this even my own voice? And then also like Taylor was saying, like, don't talk about my best friend like that.
No, exactly. And like, that's so true. Like what Paige is saying, like we live 95% in our subconscious mind, which is damn near all the time. So that's crazy. And like our subconscious mind is from when we're 5 years old, right? From society, from our parents, from our environment, from school, from kids that we play with. Like we're constantly like our brain is literally wired from these external sources. And unless you spend time rewiring your subconscious, like you're going to get stuck in that autopilot that you're talking about.
Yeah.
The negative self-talk and hate and whatever it is. And you have to realize like, those are not my thoughts. and thoughts can be like changed.
And I think also like the biggest thing, and I want to continue like
Yeah.
your self-love journey, the biggest thing also is, yes, it's very important to rewire your subconscious because 95% of your life is dictated by your subconscious. But also what you need to do to take it a step further is thoughts and beliefs create an emotion that's in your body. Emotions are in your body. So like fear, shame, guilt, it lives in your body. It doesn't live in your mind. And so when you've been living on autopilot with like negative thoughts, right? With dating and self-love and all of that, like if you don't feel worthy, if you don't feel good enough, you can continue to tell yourself like I'm worthy, I'm lovable, I'm good enough. But the reason it didn't shift for me for a long time, I continued to be in romantic relationships that ended up in betrayals and like felt like similar patterns and stuff, is because you're not healing at the body level. So you need to get your body and mind in harmony, and you will continue. I will scream this and then we're back to you.
Yeah.
I will continue to scream this at the top of my lungs on my rooftop with a microphone. Like you will continue to attract familiar patterns. So if you grew up with a caregiver that didn't give you the love that you deserved, or overgave to you and it was like too much or whatever, you're going to continuously attract those things. I'm so passionate about this because I did like all the self-work, like I thought so, and I kept attracting it. And it's so inspiring how where you came from and where you're at.
Thank you. No, totally. And again, like you said, gotta get the mind and the body on the same page. Otherwise, you're like they're working in opposite forces or opposite directions. But yeah, I mean, it takes me back to college. I think freshman 15, for me, it was sophomore 30. And I'm not kidding you guys. Literally, I gained 30 pounds. Kill me. It's fine. Everyone needs a fat stage, character development, how to write my jokes. Like, it was needed. Now I look back, I'm like, oh, I had multiple glow ups. It's fine. So, yeah, I gained 30 pounds. I was a bio major, so I was studying until 2 in the morning pretty much every single day.
Wow.
I, had just studied abroad. I came back and I was taking all the hardest classes in like one semester. I was smoking a bunch of weed, wasn't eating the best, like partying all the time, just unhappy. And I think a lot of that was distracting myself from doing like the actual work that needed to be done. And I kind of woke up one day and I was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you have a choice in this. You are the creator of your life. Like, let's turn this around. So like, what makes you happy? What makes you fulfilled? What makes you feel good? And so I started working out a lot, stopped drinking for like a whole summer. Started going on like long drives to watch the sunset and to go see like the view. I love to be in nature and I love a good drive. So like blasting the music and just like doing my thing. Oh my God, I lost all the weight. I was like back in good health. Like my grades were better. They weren't ever bad, but like I was actually focusing more on it. So they were better. And I was just like feeling more confident in myself. And so like the first step also is like look good, feel good for me personally. Like when I am feeling my most confident self, I'm looking good and I have a fun outfit on, my hair and makeup are done. Like that is just, I think, step one almost. But yeah, like once I got to that point, I also had like an identity crisis with being a bio major. I always wanted to be a doctor. And I was like, that is like my career path. Like this is what I want to do. Everyone knows it. And then I was like, wait a minute, I don't think I want to go to like 8 more years of school and be hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And so stepping away from that was also hard. I think we do associate our identity with our career a lot. And so kind of moving away from that at that age, I was like, what the fuck do I want to do? Like, I have no clue. So then I moved to Spain and I taught English in Madrid for a year, which was absolutely amazing. And I promise you, I know I'm like jumping around here, but it like will all come together. And the fact of like, a lot of my self-confidence comes from just putting myself in uncomfortable situations. So like my strong sense of self and sense of like love for myself is just putting myself in uncomfortable positions because I know like I'm going to be fine. Yeah. So I moved to Spain, didn't know the language, basically got on the Uber and I was like, hola, hablas inglés? Like, no. I'm like, what did I get myself into? But, it was fine. It was sink or swim environment. Getting to the hospital and, talking to doctors and getting on the metro and negotiating housing contracts and getting visas and all of these things in a language you don't speak in a country you don't know anyone. You got to like really have a strong sense of self and be okay with being alone. Yeah. And so I think it really kind of like honed in initially like my just like sense of independence and sense of like, I got this. I can literally do anything.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, it's so inspiring because from when you were in college, like you said, like you hated yourself, like you had so much self-hatred, you gained weight, you weren't in a good place. And now like you have such a strong sense of self. I think it's so inspiring. I also will say, I feel there's a misconception. I don't feel self-confidence equals self-love. Like you
No,
can
they're
really,
different.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you can really believe in yourself. And I have an episode on this. You can really believe in yourself, but not love yourself. My whole life, I've had radical self-confidence, radical self-belief, and
Yes.
my self-love, it was conditional on being in a
Look a
relationship.
certain way, or if
Yeah.
you feel a certain way, or being in a relationship, whatever it is.
Yeah. So how did you get to a place of like unconditional self-love for yourself?
I mean, I think in the last probably year is where I really like solidified that. Just because, again, like how you said, it's conditional. I would be really good. And then all of a sudden, maybe I'd kind of like back out of it and I'd be like negative self talking or not feeling my best and kind of being like, ugh, like looking at myself in the mirror and like pinching my stomach or like pushing my boobs up and like, gosh, I wish I looked like this and this and this. So it's like, we've all been there. And
Yeah.
it's a never ending journey. So if you are on this journey, like it's never ending. You know what I mean? Like self-love, I think, is something that we can work on every single day for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
But it's actually funny because I did a solo trip around South America and Central America for 3 months. And so I was just traveling around with myself. And again, very much like a lot of time alone. And I think there's a difference between being alone and like being lonely. And I
Yeah.
love
Solitude and lonely. Yeah.
Yes.
Different.
Like I do enjoy my alone time. I'm a huge extrovert. I get my energy being around people and like being in social situations, but I do also need that time to like recharge with just me. And that's kind of how I check in on my goals and where I'm at and how I'm feeling. And like, that's how I've created that sense of like my relationship with myself. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. People come and go, friendships, family, relationships, like whatever it is. But the only thing that you have constant is yourself.
Wow.
So having that strong relationship is like the most important thing, I think. And so on this journey that I did, I actually experimented with ayahuasca in Peru. And one of my themes going into the ceremony was love. And it was just any kind of love, self-love, love with friendships and family and everything. And basically Mother Aya just showed me all the relationships in my life, the relationship with myself, everything that I've done in my entire existence. And I was overflowing with love. It was like my heart chakra, like someone ripped it open and I was just like flowing out all like the lovey, gooey, ooey, like warmness. And it was so amazing. And since then, honestly, I have felt so much love in my life and with myself and with people. And I've been, I think, not afraid to wear my heart on my sleeve, tell people how I feel. And if they don't feel the same way, whatever, I'm cool. I've still got me. Like, no tea, no shade. Like, all is good. So,
I love that. Like when I'm in your energy, I can feel energy. I think I've shared this many times on my podcast, my intuitive gifts. I can literally feel you are a beam of love. Like I can feel literally your love.
I love that.
And it's such a gift. It's one of your superpowers. And I
So
think
basically go do ayahuasca. I'm just kidding.
do anything at your own risk. But
Yeah.
no, I think it's so powerful how you're able to wear your heart on your sleeve because myself, and I'm sure many people listening, it's hard to wear your heart on your sleeve. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to date in, times like this. So what advice would you have for the audience on like dating? I think what's really inspiring about you is, like you said, like you always got you, like it's going to be okay. And I think I feel that way in my career, but with dating, in the past, I was an avoidant.
Same.
And so,
Recovering avoidance. Nice.
so, I literally remember like two guys over the last, I think, year. I actually was into them. Like I actually was.
But they don't know.
No, I mean, we were dating, but I literally like was like, you know what? I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to end it. It doesn't make sense. I somehow convinced myself in my mind it didn't make sense to date them. So I literally ended it. And I just was like, hey, I'm not in the right place, whatever. And like looking back, it's fine. Like, abundance mindset in dating. But looking back, it was because I was scared of like the fear of being like so into them, like the fear of falling in love again after two people I fell in love with and it didn't work out. And so I guess I would love for you to speak more on like the abundance with love, like the abundance with dating and all of that.
Let's do it. So, I mean, I was single for like 7 years before I got into my most recent relationship that I just left 4 months ago, but that was kind of confusing. So when I was single, I was dating a lot, and it was never from a place of like lack or, I need this person to like fulfill me in some way. It was like, I want to have fun. I want to experiment. I want to get to know what I want and what I don't want. Like, there is no strings attached. This is not serious at all. Like, I'm doing this strictly to get to know myself better, to get to know other people, and like have fun with it. Like, what is the worst case scenario? I always ask myself that. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? I never see them again. Cool. I've only been on 2 dates with them. Like, I don't care. It's not that serious.
What would you say to someone? Because some of my friends say, what if this person doesn't text me back, or what if they're not into me, or like, what would you say to someone like that?
It's also just kind of like that same question. Like, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? They don't text you back. I'm sorry, you're gonna die. If they don't text you back, are you literally gonna like fall over and go, I'm done? No, it's like crying. It's not that. I know that sounds harsh, but it's like you kind of have to check yourself again. Like when you're doing that negative self-talk, like, wait a minute, why am I doing this? A guy doesn't text you back, or a girl, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
We move on. Like, that's okay. It doesn't have anything to do with you and your self-love, which is why I think you do have to have that unwavering sense of like yourself. Like, I'm going to be okay no matter what.
Yeah.
The person doesn't text me back. We don't go on a second date. They ghost me. They tell me they're not interested. They're maybe dating someone else. Okay, cool. Like, I'm not tied to you. We're not like shackled and chained up and I'm like, we're together for forever. Like, nothing is permanent in this life except for you.
Yeah.
Except for yourself.
Yeah.
So like, that's why I would say, like, even before you date, honestly, date yourself.
Yeah.
Take yourself out on dates. Like, what's your love language? Do that with yourself. I think spending alone time and like figuring out what it is you desire and like finding things that you love about yourself kind of like hones in that. So if someone does reject you, you're like, all good. They're not my person. Like, wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
Good riddance, honestly. Like, thank you for showing me your true colors, because like I don't want that in my life.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think also like there's a million people in the world, men, women. So, and that's an abundance mindset. And I think for myself personally, I've had an abundance mindset in every area of my life: wealth, financial, career, success, like everything. But love, there's been times in my life where I've lived in lack and scarcity. And it came from a place of when I was younger, I experienced inconsistent love. I had a good childhood. I'm not, like sitting here with like victim, like people go through different things. And so when you experience that at a younger age, you mentioned like 5, your subconscious is like really forming and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
That sets your mold for what love is. And so
Sure.
like
For what anything.
yeah, for what anything is. And so if you're listening to this, I want to challenge you to rethink about what love is to you. And the way I was able to rewire my subconscious with love is like a year and a half ago, I was like, after I walked away from a relationship, my second betrayal, I was the common denominator here. If I'm getting betrayed twice, I was like, okay, what is love? Why do I keep thinking I need to chase or earn someone's love or prove myself or like, all of that energy? And that's what I was attracting. I was attracting someone that like I had to prove. And then they were betraying me because I was betraying myself.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? Love is everywhere. Love is infinite. You are love. I am love. You walk on the streets, people are smiling. A smile is love. Like what do I want to believe love is? I started rewiring my subconscious, and then I started like walking to work, and I would just look around and I would see people smiling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's love. And I was like, my whole life I thought like love was like you need to like climb up this mountain and then you get like the trophy and then you like
Yes.
And so I think it's like what's your definition of love, and that's going to determine like what actions you take and then like what you receive, because I feel like your like what's your definition of love?
I mean, that's beautifully said. I think my definition of love, that's actually a really good question. It's just feeling like warm and fuzzy, like you said, seeing someone laugh, having a playful moment with someone, walking on the street, seeing them smile, or like embrace someone and give them a hug, or it's just like an intimate moment. I don't even know.
I asked that because up until a year and a half ago, I had never asked myself, what's my definition of love? I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I was on autopilot from my subconscious, living in my mind, and then also trauma in my body of love is inconsistent, love is volatile, love is painful, love is self-sacrifice, love is betrayal, and all these things. And so but I really wanted love. And so
Yeah.
you have all these negative connotations to something that you really want. And so you're out in the world on autopilot, living with this definition of it. And so your subconscious is always going to attract and get evidence to prove you right. So I was like,
Yeah.
I was trying to date and all that, and it kept showing me love is painful, love is inconsistent.
And so, okay, now that I think about it, love for me is like my female friendships.
Oh, wow.
And I feel so fulfilled by all of my female friendships in all different ways. Like they provide me with so much energy and inspiration and just like empowerment. Like they're you included, like you guys are all fucking badasses. And I'm so inspired by them every single day. Like that is a huge sense of love. And I think a lot of times we get skewed on our view of love from maybe childhood or how our parents interacted or maybe like high school relationships or even like being bullied on the playground. Like a lot of things can shape our view of love. But I think now as an adult, it's like I love all my best friends because of X, Y, and Z. Like this is what fills me up. Like no doubt I could also love a partner for those same exact reasons. And so kind of almost just like shifting that a little bit.
I love that
Yeah.
perspective of seeing the love that is consistent in your life today and having that be the mirror or like compass to show you that can be the foundation or standard for what you attract into your life.
Right. It's like how they show up for you and like
Yeah.
conversations that you can have, open ears, like not being afraid to speak your mind, like not being afraid to have conflict and like knowing your friends are still going to be there.
Yeah.
Like why couldn't you have that also with a partner? I have that with like 30 of my closest girlfriends.
I love that.
So it's like why wouldn't I have that with a guy?
I love that because in the past I definitely felt love was scarce.
Yeah. And I mean, like I just was in a relationship for a year, which taught me a lot about, myself and again, like what I want and what I don't want. And at the end of it, I kind of had like a serious talk with myself. I was like, is this giving me what I need and want in life? And like, is it energizing me the same way that my female friendships energize me? And like the same way that, not even just my female friendships, but other relationships that I have energize me. And it was like, no, I think I'm giving out more energy than I'm getting. And I felt like my life force was being drained. And so I made the really tough call to like step away from that and walk away from that and choose myself. Cause, sure, sometimes I do miss that person, but I missed me more.
Aw.
And like the Taylor before that relationship was a force of nature. Not that I wasn't in that relationship, but I just think that like my energy was being taken away from me and put into something else that wasn't giving me any energy back. And so like since exiting that, I've had this whole like come back to self moment and it's been so exciting. So ultimately like just choosing yourself, like you know what you want, you know who you are, like don't waver from that. Don't give up your power for someone else. Like take that for you.
I feel like we've come like full circle here because in the beginning you were saying there was so much self-hatred for yourself in college and then you really committed to going on a journey with yourself and like building a deeper connection with yourself and then, went on this self-love journey and feel so much love for yourself and enter the relationship stuff. And I love how you said in the relationship, you had to ask yourself, is this energizing me, giving me energy, or like, am I going further away from myself? And in so many relationships, I'm so like fiery about this. I continued to see myself in the mirror going further away from myself. And I just like let it happen. And it's just, I waited and then I got betrayed. And I got betrayed because I was betraying myself. You're gonna like, things are gonna happen to you in life until you take action. And I love how you were like, wait a minute, I miss that Taylor. And like, it was just so inspiring to hear you say that. Like, I miss myself. Like, I am amazing. I'm incredible. Like, I don't miss that guy. I don't miss like, no, like I miss me.
Yes.
Like, yes.
Literally 100%.
That's the energy.
And like dating should be fun. Like when you're going on these dates, honestly, it's low stakes. Like I mentioned, like just have fun with it. Take the pressure off.
I think
There's no attachment. Like again, like I said, nothing in life is permanent. Like you're not going to go on one date with this person and be like, oh my God, like, what's going to happen? Like,
I think a lot of people do that though.
right. And then you have to ask yourself, like, what are you looking to get from this person that you just met? Like, what are you trying to have them fill in yourself that you're not filling? So like, kind of take a step back and be like, where do I need to show up for myself maybe that I'm expecting this person that I just met to do? And so once you really start showing up for yourself in those ways, is I think when you can like get into a relationship fully fulfilled and you're like, I just want this person to add to my life. I'm not asking them to like fill up my cup in any kind of way. I do that for myself. I want this person to stand alone and like we just like grow together and build
I
together.
love that. I talk to a lot of different people and they are like, yeah, I don't want to go on the stage, too much pressure and stuff. And at some points in my life, I felt that way as well. I felt either this person's really going to want to date me and like it's just going to be too much pressure and I'm in, you know, I used to be an avoidance, so let me go right away. Or I felt, well, what if I like this person? But I love what you said of like, it's like, why are you putting pressure on it? What are you trying to have this person feel within you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really powerful. And like owning back your power rather than looking for someone else to, you know, fulfill.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like recognize, you know, people either give you energy or they take your energy. And so if you're in a relationship or a friendship or like any kind of dynamic where you're not feeling like yourself and your cup's being drained or your energy's being drained, like really have a sit down and be like, is this serving my higher self? You know, like, is this something that is sustainable? Is this something that's giving me energy and giving me life? Do I like, maybe I love this person, sure, but is it supporting me and my goals and what I want for myself?
Yeah.
That's hard because sometimes you have so much love for someone and you really want it to work and you see their highest potential, but they're not showing up as their highest potential. You have to separate that.
Yeah.
And see, like,
We're dating the reality.
yes, we're dating the reality. And sometimes you gotta got it.
Yeah. This has been such an amazing conversation about your self-love journey, dating, you know, self-discovery, and just committing to yourself because at the end of the day, like nothing in life is permanent except the connection you have with yourself. I'm curious.
Write it down,
Yeah.
like get that in your journal. But that's
I'm curious if there's anything else you want to share or any other nuggets.
I think it's honestly like it also comes down to energy. A lot of my friends are like, "How are you going on dates? Like, how are you getting asked out? Like, what is the vibe? Like, I don't want to. I hate the dating scene.
You
or I
do
hate
get
the
asked
dating-
out a lot.
I know it's like
A lot of guys, a lot of guys ask me out a lot too. Like I'm similar to your story. It's like you'll text me being like, I was laying at the beach and this guy randomly, and like literally that happens not like
Yes.
specifically on the beach, but like I'll be at a restaurant or wherever, and like a guy will just literally walk up to me, and I feel like it's energy. Like you're very
Yes.
open, I'm very open, and people are drawn to authenticity and like warmness. And some of my
Yes.
friends are like, I never get asked out, and I'm like, you're literally on your phone with like
Looking
your
down
face
and you look
down.
angry.
Yeah, you
Yes.
look angry.
So, I mean, I've been on 3 dating app dates in my entire life. The rest of them have been like in the wild, is what I like to call it. I've been asked out on planes, at the post office.
I was
the
asked out on a
beach.
plane in first class.
Oh my god, we had like a whole like romance affair in Seattle for a week. It was so fun. But yeah. And it's just I think it comes down to energy. Like be open. Maybe if you go out for a girls' night, we love a girls' night, like have fun with your girls, but set an intention before. Be like, hey, I want to have some open energy and I want, you know, to have like a very inviting space where people want to come up and talk to me and just to kind of see what takes place. But I think again, openness, energy, like set that intention, smile, like be happy, like feel yourself, like
The basic things.
the basic things.
Be
Like
open
that.
to meet people, smile, say hello.
Yeah. No, but my friend actually was telling me this. She's like, I'm like stranger danger. She's like, I don't want people to come up and talk
My
to me.
friend literally tells me
And
that too.
no one ever comes up and talks to her.
My friend
Yeah.
tells me she wants to meet someone and she doesn't like talking to strangers.
Yeah.
But she wants guys to approach her.
Oh, I'm like, I love strangers. I'm like, hello, homeless man of the street. Like, hi, you want to be friends? Which is not good. Like, I need to maybe have a little bit more reservation there. But the same thing. And then my friend recently said, she's like, you were so right about the whole energy thing. Lately, I've been setting an intention before I go out, saying like, let's be open and have fun. Like, I want someone to come up and talk to me. She's been asked out like 4 times in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it's like
So it's crazy.
I don't think people understand that you have an energetic vibration. We all are made of energy. You're emitting energy out, frequency. And so whether you know it or not, your energy could be like this and you don't even know it. So that's why what Taylor's saying is so powerful. Before you go out on a date or whatever, and you are not typically someone that's like warm energy. Like me, I'm like, hey everyone, I love you. Come hang out. Like guys, girls, I'm like friendly with everyone. set an intention, exactly what she's saying, because that literally will shift your energy. It doesn't have to be complex.
So I think like my takeaways would be, like date yourself. Again, what are your love languages? Take yourself out on a date that makes you feel good and makes you feel confident. Write down a list of every single thing that you love about yourself. Get specific. And this list is never ending. Like have it in your phone whenever you think of something new, type it out.
I love that.
So you can remind yourself of all of your great qualities. It can be physical attributes. It can be, how you dress or the way that you carry yourself or your curiosity, really anything that you love. And then be open. Like experiment, have fun. Don't take it too serious. Ask yourself, like, what's the worst that'll happen? Like find out the actual worst case scenario and be like, oh, that's actually not that bad. He doesn't text me. Okay, move on. He goes, like, you know what I mean? Like, what is the worst thing that will happen? Am I going to survive that? Yes. Okay, all's good.
I love that. Well, this has been so amazing. Can you share with the audience where they can find you, connect with you, what you're building?
Yes, yeah. So find me on Instagram at Tayham, Tayyyham. I also run a community here in San Francisco called Soulful with 2 L's at the end, like your soul is full. So you can find us at soulful.sf. We host a bunch of events every month. So come hang out, come by with us. I'd love to chat with you guys, meet you in person. If you want another episode, also DM us questions.
Yeah,
we can answer
reach
them.
out with any questions or anything. Taylor is crushing it in the community building space and just doing incredible things. So let us know if you enjoyed this episode. If it was impactful, please write a review, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Mwah. Bye.